You're listening to Last Word Radio, where you get the last word.
Welcome to the Fourth Line Podcast, part of the Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB. This is October the 14th, 2019. With today is myself, Carl, and Stevie Nick.
It's a Monday, October 14th.
It is.
And you're not at work.
I'm not at work, no.
I'm not at work either.
I'm thankful. It's Thanksgiving, Nick. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, Carl.
Did you celebrate with some turkey and other such things today?
We, not today. We did yesterday. But I ate a lot.
Oh my goodness, you're telling me.
Like, I had to go lay down on the couch after dinner.
It has been probably since like the holiday season last December, January. I realized I haven't like filled myself to the point that it hurt in quite some time. My body was not ready for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is a great holiday, but we really shouldn't. You shouldn't eat that much, Carl.
No.
That's not good for you.
No, that's a fact, but it was good. Had some turkey, the usual pumpkin pie, apple pie.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you just had turkey and dessert.
I mean, there was other things as well, but that's, it's the main ticket.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. We did the full dinner too. We even ate some vegetables.
You know what? I had second helpings of salad even.
What?
So if I'm going back for the good stuff, I'm going to have some vegetables too.
Who are you?
You know what? I'm 31 years old, Nick. That's who I am. I'm a 31-year-old doing Thanksgiving dinner is what I am.
Oh, man.
Not as young as I used to be.
Well, did you get the leftovers?
No, actually, I came away with 0 leftovers from it, which is fine. I've still got plenty, and I actually have a turkey in my freezer that's going to be cooked probably in 2 weeks for like
nice.
Late Friendsgiving. So,
I've never made a turkey before.
Oh, it's super easy. Have you like cooked a chicken, like a whole chicken?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay, just a bigger bird.
Just a bigger version. Yeah, it's good. I like to do. I first liked it because I'm mature. But have you ever spatchcocked a turkey or a chicken?
No, and I'm afraid to know what it means.
So it's you like break the breastbone and you like put it out spread eagle.
Oh yeah. And
it cooks super delicious.
I'm familiar with the technique, just not the word.
It takes like half the time. You can cook it hotter, so you get like the crispier skin, but it's still juicy inside. It's good.
Sounds
highly
delicious.
Recommend it. So
thank you. Well, speaking of turkey, hockey's on.
We've got some Thanksgiving Day hockey. Even in the States, they're even celebrating Thanksgiving afternoon games.
I appreciate it. After the last 2 weekends this weekend and last weekend where there was no hockey on during the day, even yesterday, I mean, I get they don't want to compete with football, but man, it was a long day with no hockey yesterday.
It's a holiday. Just let it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. I've been watching some games. We've got the Panthers Devils game on right now is what I'm tuning into. So
I got that game on too, and it's on mute. And the Panthers look like they have a 4-minute power play. I'm not quite sure what happened.
There's a reason that the Devils are still winless. That's what happened.
That's the only reason I have this game on. Otherwise, I would not be watching Florida, New Jersey in the middle of a day on a Monday.
Well, and there's thin pickings. It's that you could watch Ottawa, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Nope, not that.
I know.
But that's fine. I was also watching Boston, Anaheim because that was the one that, for some reason, that's on my cable. Like Sportsnet's showing that today.
I would have thought Sportsnet was showing Ottawa.
No, that would be TSN.
Oh.
They have like the local rights for that one.
That's right.
So,
well, Pastrnak scored a hat trick.
He did. Yeah. We'll get to Boston later.
Okay.
But first, Park Power, one of the fantastic sponsors of the Alberta Podcast Network. In Alberta, you get to choose who you buy your energy from. And if you pick Park Power, your money stays in Alberta. Plus, Park Power shares its profits with local nonprofits that are working to make a difference for their communities. Shopping local is very important to Park Power, and we also are big fans of supporting local businesses. I know out in Ontario, you are. In Alberta, I am as well. Alberta Podcast Network, big supporter of that too. Head to parkpower.ca. You can do that. It's super easy to switch to. Just head to parkpower.ca. You can find out how much it's going to cost, what you need to do to switch. They've got a super easy form to fill out. Just go over there and do that. You will not regret it. Park Power. Let's go to... Do you want to start with the good news or the bad news? Because spoilers, boy. I've got both.
Let's start with the bad news.
Okay, the bad news. There are 3 teams winless still in the National Hockey League. Now, we'll see. 2 of them are playing as we speak, which is why, as you mentioned, you're hotly tuned in to the New Jersey Devils.
Yes.
And that is the one that I find the most interesting, right? The other 2, we've got the Wild. We knew they'd be terrible. The Blackhawks, they had that trip at the start of the year. We knew that they wouldn't be great. I didn't think they'd be this bad, but less games, a road trip. I have reasons. But the Devils, let's start there.
I mean, what's there to say? They shouldn't be. Like, they were picked, and Florida just scored. They were picked by everyone to be like that sneaky playoff team this year.
Yeah, the team, well, and with good reason, right?
100%.
They got Jack Hughes, which he's not shown up and been a hero by any means. He's shown up and looked like an 18-year-old trying to figure out how to play in the NHL.
Which is, I think, to be expected. Like, the guy's going to take a few years to hit his stride, which is okay. Like, he's the one I'm least concerned about on this team.
Who are you most concerned about on this team?
Corey Schneider. Like, we're entering week 2 of the season now. Is it time to start overreacting about things?
I think you absolutely can. Yeah.
I don't know if Corey Schneider's up to the task with this team.
I assume that's who's in net today for them.
Yeah.
And we've got a sample size that included the last few years that Corey Schneider has not been good, or certainly not good enough for this team.
I think he's a fine, average goalie. But with how young this team is, and well, they're not that young, but some of their big talent, they're still waiting for them to come into their prime, and they need a better than average goalie.
Yeah, today was his 3rd start of the season, and looking like he's going to come away with his 3rd loss in that as well.
Yeah, it's not looking good. I have concerns with that. First and foremost.
But so I think a lot of people had high hopes from the Devils side that Mackenzie Blackwood would be enough to kind of take the reins from him. He has struggled so far this year as well. And again, very small sample size, but I think they need to start relying on him, seeing what they have in him, because they should be able to understand that Corey Schneider is not what they need for this team, and they have to go in a different direction.
And if it's not Blackwood, then maybe they should look at the trade market.
They have to look at the trade market. Yeah.
We talked last week how the Devils should probably buy this year at the trade deadline, because they're in a position where, they're kind of set for the next little while in terms of development. Like, everyone could use high draft picks, but they're probably in a pretty good position to start trading some of theirs away in the next few years. Yeah.
And a mediocre goaltender you could get for a 3rd round pick, 2nd round, 3rd round pick, which is completely fine for them to be given up.
For sure. Or if your scouts are really good, you start looking into some of the other teams' depth charts in net and see if you can find one of those young guys who is projecting to be a top 2 goalie in the NHL.
Yeah. The other side of it as well, though, right? Moving into next year, sure, like prospect wise, they're fine. But they've, Taylor Hall not signed for next year. Wayne Simmons, he only signed a 1-year deal. And Sammy Vatanen, also a UFA after this year. So those are 3 pretty big tickets, especially Taylor Hall, that could be on their way out.
Taylor Hall's the one you got to get done sooner rather than later, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And like, would you consider his start a slow start? Because he just scored his first goal today, I think.
I think so. Like, he's already missed. I mean, he didn't miss like full game, but like missed time with injury. Like, that's part of the issue here is that Taylor Hall you better be getting him at some sort of a discount because he cannot stay healthy. If you're paying him full market value for like ceiling Taylor Hall, you've made a big mistake. And on that side, I'm okay letting him go.
I mean, you wait and see. You wait and see how he does until January, February. If he's showing that he's, ceiling Taylor Hall again and he hasn't been injured, then from the player's point of view, like, why would he sign a discount?
True. I mean, here's the thing. You look at how much time he's missed. Last year he missed most of the season, right? He missed 49 games last season.
Yeah.
Year before, only 6. Year before that, 10 games. The year before in Edmonton, he did play all 82. But him playing 70 games is kind of what you expect. So I'd be wanting to get him, 85 cents on the dollar because you're only going to play 85% of the games for me.
Yeah, that one will be interesting. So where are you on New Jersey? Are you concerned by this slow start?
I am. And for me, I think at this point in time, especially with the loss today, I would not be surprised to see John Hynes not make it out of October as the coach of the Devils.
Oh, interesting. You think he'll be the first one?
I think so. With the expectations on this team and all those certain things, granted, he did just get an extension, but it's way easier to dump him than it is the rest of this roster. Something's got to change. If you're going to keep losing games, they're going to head to what? 0-5, 0-6 to start the year here later on this afternoon. So
it all kind of depends on what the expectations are for the team from a management perspective. Like if they're truly, like, I know they're always going to say in the media, if they're truly expecting to be a playoff team this year, then you got to make a change soon. But if you are internally like, we're almost there, but we need another year or two of development and maybe some key moves, then you let him ride it out and see what he can do with the squad. But I think he's closer to the former than the latter.
Really? So you don't think that he's on the hotbed? Or you do?
No, I do. I think the team's more in a position of like, we got the first round draft pick. We went out and got a number 1 defenseman. We signed a couple key pieces. Like I think that their expectation is playoffs, and it should be.
Absolutely, yeah.
So he should be on the hot seat. We'll see. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. Of the 3 winless teams, who do you think is first to get the W?
Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago, and we'll get into that in a second. Chicago, they play Edmonton next.
Oh, then maybe that'll be an interesting one.
And I'm gonna let you repick Minnesota winning with 6 minutes left in the game.
I guess they are playing Ottawa.
They are playing Ottawa, shutting out the Ottawa Senators. Not that hard.
No, it shouldn't be.
I think at this point in time, and we'll know before this show's even done recording, Minnesota probably going to get that done. But I would agree. Chicago, again, I shared my thoughts. Smaller sample size. I think Minnesota will probably win today, then Chicago, then the Devils. Somehow the Devils last to get a win in the league.
I mean, who do you think's the best team of the 3?
New Jersey. Then Chicago, then Minnesota.
Objectively, logically, that makes sense to me. But Chicago always seems to be better than everyone gives them credit for.
Yes, I guess if I look at it from actual performance so far, like Chicago's done better than the Devils have. Because I don't count that Czech game. Like, sure, they played it counted, but like whatever. So they've played 2 games since then?
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's hard, man. For professional athletes, so much of their performance relies on their routine, both physically and mentally. And when you start a season off of that routine, I think it does a number on you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. As much as they do give you the time to go over early and all that, the ultimate road game is playing on a different continent. So
yeah, for sure.
Well, there's 2 teams yet to lose as well. I don't know if you've seen this, Nick. I'm almost right. I said it last week. I picked the Avalanche.
I know.
They still haven't lost yet.
And you made a really good argument for it. Who's their next game against?
They play Washington today.
And
So
Chicago plays Edmonton today?
Chicago plays Edmonton tonight. So
And Edmonton's the other undefeated team.
Yeah. It's Chicago, Edmonton, Colorado, Washington. Technically, if Colorado loses before Edmonton gets a chance to play, Edmonton is the last team in the NHL to lose a game.
Correct.
Somehow.
So how are you feeling about the Avs' chances against Washington?
Pretty good. I have no reason to not feel good about it. They've played really good hockey. They beat a good Bruins team. Was that their last game? That would have been their last game, I would think. Yeah. Beat a really good Bruins team. Managed to do it on the heels of 2 overturned goals, which is always nice. You know, leave it up to Boston to cheat twice and have the goals pulled back. Of course they did.
At least they're finally getting what's coming to them.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've been very happy with what I've seen from them so far. Their second line, like, I know it feels good when the second line has the game-winning goals in back-to-back games, but Andrei Burakovsky doing his thing. That entirely brand new second line, Donskoy, Kadri, Burakovsky, pretty good.
So bringing it back to the undefeated teams, who do you have more faith in winning? Colorado over Washington or Edmonton over Chicago? Like, yeah, which team do you think has a better chance of winning?
Colorado over Washington, simply because, like, small sample size being what it is, Edmonton, they are shooting 16% right now. They are second in the league in goals and last in the league in shots. That's impressive.
Something's got to give.
So let's give them that, right? They're doing it. And here's why that shooting percentage is so high. They have a 44% success rate on the power play right now.
That's pretty good PP.
So maybe don't take a penalty against them. Tip Chicago, don't let Connor McDavid get a power play. Don't do that.
Yeah,
Then just shut him down. Don't let him pass it to James Neal. It's that easy, right?
So easy.
Just it's like all those teams. It's like, oh yeah, just don't let Ovi shoot. I'm going to tell Colorado when they're playing, don't let Ovi shoot from his spot and you'll win the game. It's that easy.
That one's funny because it does actually, it sounds like a pretty sound and easy strategy. Like, just cover him on the power play. Yeah, somehow that guy always gets the shot off on the power play.
Yeah. It's like you can't play man to man when you're down to man.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if that one man is Ovechkin. So I look at those numbers and, like, watching Edmonton play, we talked about it last week. Them and what they rely on. I saw a number today. I believe their goal differential is negative when Connor McDavid is not on the ice.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Exactly what it seems like. So, like, you've got James Neal going off, and sure, it's laughable right now that Milan Lucic is irrelevant in Calgary. And you've got people talking about here in town, talking about how great it is to have him defending the team and using his size and his body, while, like, 3 hours down the road, James Neal's scoring every goal in sight, just trying to justify it. So yeah, it's great. Enjoy it while you can, Edmonton, because it won't last like this. That said, the Pacific Division's not very good.
Yeah. I mean, that trade is turning out exactly how everyone predicted it would.
James Neal and his 20 goals a season streak that Calgary ruined last year, he'll have it before Christmas at this rate. I mean, I guess technically at this rate, he'll have it before October is done, but, like, it is legitimately plausible that he could have 20 goals by Christmas.
Yeah.
And he should. Yeah. I mean, when you have him on that power play unit, when you have him playing with Connor McDavid, you give him that talent. absolutely you're going to be able to put up those numbers.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't watched too much of Edmonton, so I haven't seen the kind of details of their game. But, those numbers you just said to me, which I did not know about until you said them right now, it's a little worrying. At some point the luck's going to run out, probably against a team who hasn't won yet, but is full of, as Mike Babcock would say, real good pros who have won championships, and they hate to lose. So yeah, I buy it, Carl. I'm buying Colorado over Washington before Edmonton over Chicago.
Excellent. Well, I guess we'll find out in due time. By the end of the day, we'll know. Is one of these teams going to lose? I hope there's at least one, and that is Colorado. But we will see from that perspective. Talking about, looking at this, the goal review situation. I know offside review has been a big thing for a number of years. Goalie reviews have been a thing. One thing that boggles my mind is it, correct me if I'm wrong, it's still illegal to hit a goalie, correct?
I think so. It should be.
Right. Like, I'm not crazy, right? Like, that's not a thing that you can do.
No.
Okay.
No, you're not crazy.
Okay, good. I thought like I missed something in the offseason. Like all of a sudden that was a thing. And not to say that there's been a rash of it, but when there is a goaltender review for goal interference, there was a time that would lead to a penalty. Like, not recently, but like there was a time that if you got dinged for that, why don't we have that? If you're going to hit a goalie enough that like a goal gets called back, how is that not a penalty for goalie interference? It should be a penalty,
yeah. You're right.
Can we make that happen? Can that be a thing we do?
Well, is there a difference between goaltender interference, the penalty, and goaltender interference, you've prevented a goalie from making the save?
Oh.
Because the penalty to me feels more like you push the guy over, you run him, you hit him. Whereas when you're preventing him from making a save, you're just in his crease or in his way, or you maybe accidentally get your skate in their pad. Like, I don't know if that's worthy of a penalty.
Right. There is two differences, as you mentioned, right? You don't think that it is? Because, like, for me, I'm like, if you're interfering in a way that goalie can't do his job, make it a penalty. I have zero issue. I'd be very okay with that. If you're going to do that, especially now that we're doubling down on challenges, and we're saying, hey, if you're going to make this challenge and you're going to fail at it, we're going to hand out more penalties for that, for delay a game, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think it should be the exact same thing on the other side. That if you're going to do that, if you're going to break that rule, and the other team has to catch you for breaking that rule, someone is getting a penalty on every review.
I'm not opposed to that. Like, if you're going to call a review and you're wrong, I think there should be a consequence to that because you're delaying the game. So I agree with that. I just think that there is a difference between goalie interference, the penalty, and goalie interference, we're calling this goal back. Because I think back to the days when Tomas Holmstrom used to just stand in front of the net for the Red Wings. And this guy had goals called back on him all the time, but he didn't sit in the penalty box for it. This is before reviews even. He was just like in the goalie's crease, screening him, preventing him from getting over to make saves. But it wasn't like an aggressive attack on the goalie. So he wouldn't get penalties when the goals were called back, but they'd call the goal back.
Right.
Yeah. That to me, like, there's a difference between the two. You're running the goalie, you're cross-checking him, you hit him behind the net or in the net. That's a penalty.
So here's the actual difference. They're both the same rule. The penalty version says that whether, in all cases where the infraction being imposed is to the attacking player for hindering the goalie's ability to move in the crease, the penalty to be assessed is for goalie interference. So, according to this, if you are hindering the goalie's ability to move freely in his crease, that is a penalty. which is what every single one of these goals getting called back is.
That's why they get called back.
So I'm just enforce it, right? If you've even got a stick there, if you've got a skate there, and that's being called back, that should be a penalty.
I mean, by the way the rule's written, yeah, you're right. I just don't know if I necessarily agree with that.
Well,
I don't know if a team should be short for 2 minutes because, the guy was just a little too much in the crease.
Well, the good news is that it's called back anyways, right? So it's still not going to be a goal. And we'll probably get some more scoring out of it anyways because you're going to now have it. And I think you'd have a lot less. If we're talking about player safety, you're going to have a lot less players hanging around the crease because all of a sudden you go from your team being up one to right now when that gets called back, you still keep possession in that end. So all of a sudden you're a guy short, the puck's on the other end of the ice, and you're now really up against it. So I think you'd see it cut down a fair amount on players being in and around that crease. Because the amount of things I've seen, like guys who are just taking full on runs straight towards the net, and I get the reason why you have that as a play, but when you just go straight into the goalie, not really the smartest move from a safety perspective.
Yeah, for sure. Although hockey's a fast sport, sometimes it's hard to stop.
But if you're going straight at a goalie, there's no other way to be like, well, I thought I was going to move. No, you're just skating full speed ahead at a guy. Of course you're going to hit him.
It's true. And a lot of the time it's defended by you want the rebound. Anyways,
exactly.
I think we've made our point.
Minnesota Wild, congratulations. You've got a win. New Jersey Devils, still winless.
All right, so I was wrong when I picked Chicago.
Well,
normally I don't have to hear about being wrong until 7 days later.
You've got to wait a week, not mere minutes. That's fine, though. We've got one game still going on. For this, I guess two games going on this afternoon hockey, and then a couple more later as the day goes on.
Yep,
which is nice. We got how much do you care about captaincy in the NHL? Because your Detroit Red Wings have been, and you yourself, big supporter of them replacing their captainlessness.
Yes,
with Dylan Larkin.
Yes, I think having a captain is important. It's important to the room. It's important for a group of people, a team who are coming together to play and win. I think it's important to have a leader who can stand up and speak. And, I know a lot of the times they work with the coaches and they're the coach's voice. And there's a lot of good reasons to have a captain. Where I kind of feel conflicted about it is on the ice. It doesn't mean anything.
So does it literally need to have that C on the jersey to have that? Because if from my perspective, I look at it, if you're a leader in the room, then you're going to be that leader in the room, whether you are or are not wearing the letter.
I don't think it needs to happen, but I think it's I don't know. Maybe it does. It's a formality that I think guys would respond to. Any team member would.
So just a little bit of the respect given, and more so an acknowledgement of what is already happening, not a placing of additional responsibility, maybe.
Yeah, I think it depends on the team. I think different teams have different responsibilities for their captains, but in my head, yes, more of a formality.
So what responsibilities do you want to give old D-Boss there in Detroit then? As someone who could be the captain, would he be in charge of the pregame snacks? Is he bringing orange slices for intermission? Is he doing music? What? I
think he already does do the music. Which anytime, this is not just D-Boss, but any of the NHL players talk about the music they play in the dressing room, I'm like, I'm glad I'm not an NHL player.
There's a lot going on there that I don't want to be a part of.
Really, guys? Well, so in Detroit...
I guess we do have to acknowledge, though, Nick, we are above the average age of an NHL player at this point in time, so...
I know. I don't want to acknowledge it, though.
Okay. Well,
can you edit that part out?
Yeah. Let's rewind our life just 10 seconds back. Carry on.
Not think about that. In Detroit, traditionally, the captain is always the first one who comes out of the dressing room and addresses the media. And he kind of takes that on for the rest of the team. He'll address the media first, go through the game, what went wrong. I take responsibility for yada, yada, yada. And that takes a big load off the shoulders of the other guys. So that's number one in Detroit. For the fun stuff, I mean, I think the captain, as the leader in the group, is in charge of organizing things like the Halloween party and the rookies dinner and I don't know, the holiday party.
Yeah.
All the parties.
Thanksgiving dinner.
He's basically a party organizer.
Just party. Yeah. So maybe Dylan Larkin doesn't throw a good enough party. Maybe that's why he's not the captain.
Maybe that's the issue. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think there's a lot of guys on that team that I would pick to plan a party over him. He's good enough.
No, I don't think I'd pick any NHL or professional athlete to plan a party. Not their forte.
No. So I do appreciate the thought of the media side of it, right? Like,
yeah,
because certainly on the ice, there's not, a whole, but being able to take that pressure off of them, having that ownership with the media is certainly a big part of that. Because, in the locker room on the ice, there's definitely, if you are a leader, you'll be a leader independent of whether you have a letter on your chest or not, right?
Yep.
Especially from a line perspective, right? Like you have a leader of a line. Every line's going to have that guy. And if not, you should fix those lines. But that guy who takes that role, often, you'll have this centerman taking that role offensively.
For sure.
So I like, but the media side of it is one that I think is an important piece.
The other thing that, again, like I'm more familiar with the Red Wings and other organizations. But the other thing I know that Nick Lidstrom's spoken about in the past is, as captain, he was invited into the daily coaching meetings. So he'd go to the coach's office and be the voice of the players in the coaches' meetings, which I think is like kind of neat. And you bring the players' perspective and kind of what the group thinks. And then whatever the coaches decide that needs to be communicated back to the players, you're the one who delivers that message to them.
Oh yeah, certainly. And that those sort of behind the scenes things are definitely a big part of that. I bring it up because this week the Vancouver Canucks announced Bo Horvat as their new captain.
I was wondering where you were going with this.
Why?
This is not something we talked about before.
Spoilers, I left some things off the rundown list when we were going through them.
Yeah. I was a little surprised by that announcement.
In that you were expecting someone different than him, or?
I wasn't expecting an announcement at all.
Okay, yeah.
I wasn't sure any of those guys were, far. Like, I wasn't sure they had that core established yet in Vancouver with one clear leader. Like, Horvat doesn't stand out as like the clear leader of that team to me.
No, but from that, younger core, he is the oldest of that bunch. I think that's a big part of it, right? Because like behind him, you've got Brock Besser, Elias Pettersson, Quinn Hughes,
the defenseman, yeah.
And so from that side, you've got those guys, the younger. So as the elder statesman at 24 years old, he's the guy who's been there long enough or longer, been a part of it, and obviously Travis Green and the rest of that front office sees him as being a big part of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of that too, like he's got the experience. He's been playing in the league for 3 or 4 years now.
This is his 6th season.
Get out of here.
Bo Horvat.
Actually?
Yeah. He came in at 19 years old. This is his 6th year.
Oh my God.
He's 2 goals away from 100 for his career. Like he's been doing it.
He's kind of, maybe it's just me, but he's been under my radar. I've always known he was there and he was good, but I didn't realize he was such a central part of that team.
I think part of the reason is there's not a lot surrounding him. I mean,
yeah.
So far this year he has 1 point. So let's not get too excited about him as like an offensive juggernaut. But likewise, he is plays center, so has that natural needing to take charge role there, and that side of it. So I think the age, position, longevity, and not being the star, I think is also a nice thing with a captain. like not being the guy. I don't always like it when my best player is also my captain. I want my best player to go out and focus on what he's doing.
I don't know if I agree with that. Like for me as a fan, I want my best player to be the captain. Like I want them to be the guy on the team who does everything. But I think from that player's perspective, it's not always the best thing for them, especially when the stars are younger and younger now.
Right. When you're right, like I certainly agree. As the other captain not recently named, John Tavares over Austin Matthews. You've got 30-year-old John Tavares being in charge, taking that responsibility in that role versus 22-year-old Austin Matthews.
Something like that.
Big difference there. And you can let Austin Matthews, right, take on that time and grow in that role. Maybe next time he is ready for that, right? Elias Pettersson, it's his second year in the league.
Yeah.
Obviously the best player on this team, but let's let him get acclimated as the star. Maybe I misconveyed, because I fully agree with what you're saying, that I don't want captaincy to get in the way of their doing things. If they can handle that role and they are great at it,
yeah,
I love it, right?
Yep. But I think it comes with a lot of extracurriculars too, right? Which I think the Tavares versus Matthews situation is a good example of that. Like, do you want Austin Matthews worrying about all these extracurricular coaching meetings and player meetings and organizing parties, or do you want him focusing on his game? Right? Someone like Tavares, who's been around for this long, he's used to that.
I absolutely do not want Austin Matthews planning my team parties. That is not a good path to be heading down. So, yeah.
Sorry, Mitch. Mustaches only in this party.
Yeah. Sorry. It's just me and Michael are hanging out today. Got to stay home.
You'd fit in well there, Carl.
You know what? And I don't really know if I want to, but it's fine. I'm welcome. At least I get the invitation.
You get the invitation.
I'll bring Mitch as my +1 if I get a +1.
There you go.
Okay, yeah. So let's move on to some news. We actually missed this last week. There was so much in excitement in getting into that first week of the NHL season. A couple pieces we missed, and one, I guess they're both contracts. One more relevant than the other. Maybe not. I'll get to why I said that in a second. Brayden Schenn. He signed a big old deal to stay in St. Louis. $6.5 million per season for 8 more years. So he's got 9 more years in St. Louis now. He's got this year and 8 more. Big money, big term. But with the dollar value being where it is, I'm okay with it being 8. Because that 8th year is not going to be nice. Maybe that 7th year, not going to be nice. But at 6.5 for right now, I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I think the years when it's going to hurt, like when he's not producing, it'll be a much smaller percentage of the cap. So, you'll get good Brayden Schenn for the first few years while the cap's still a little lower. And then once he starts to taper off, it won't look as bad.
Well, and who knows where this team will be in 8 years from now as well, right? But Brayden Schenn, a fantastic piece of that team. Little behind the scenes, not even behind the scenes. Did you know he scored in every game since he signed this contract?
I was just looking at his stats page now. I saw that.
If he keeps that up, worth it.
He's a point per game player this year.
Yeah. Well, and a huge piece of what made that St. Louis Blues team good enough to win the Stanley Cup last year.
Yeah. It's just, did it need to be done now? That's always my question with players like Brayden Schenn. Because he's still got another, he's got this year on his old contract.
Yeah.
And then the new one kicks in. That's why I wonder, like with Brayden Schenn, was he really... Like, are you really that worried about losing him that you had to lock him up now?
But how much? So let's say you don't lock him up now and you sign him to this exact same deal. Or you say, we want you long-term. We want you 8 years. I don't see this getting any different this time in the offseason. Like, if you wait until June 25th to sign this contract, I don't think you're getting anything less than 6.5. If anything, it's going up, I think.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So from the team perspective, sure. And for Brayden Schenn, if he wants to stay in St. Louis, he's happy there. Why not?
Well, I mean, I'm just looking at the contract now too. It's got a no trade clause, but not a no move clause, which means it's not expansion protected.
So future Seattle Kraken, Seattle Salmon, Brayden Schenn.
When are they going to announce their name? They've kind of fallen off the radar, eh?
Yeah.
I haven't heard about anything about Seattle in a while.
It's almost like they're waiting until there's not a lockout to do something. I have zero actual reasons behind that. I do know that they have been announcing some things. Like, I think they broke ground on their practice arena this week, which is nice. So things like that. I know this because the WHL show we do, Andy lives across the street from where the practice rink's going to be. So he was keeping me up to speed.
I was going to say that is a deep corner of Seattle Twitter that you were on to find that information.
Hey, practice rinks. I also, Andy also informed us that the Cinnabon is gone from the mall that the practice rink's going to be attached to. So,
oh no,
I'm not sure where the media is going to be eating there, but they're not going to be getting it catered by Cinnabon.
Wow,
I'm surprised
they still built the rink there.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. So,
Brayden Schenn. Sorry, I cut you off.
You really derailed my Cinnabon tangent there, Nick.
Please go on.
Nope, we're good.
So Brayden Schenn.
The great thing about Cinnabon is that you never actually have to pay for a full thing. Like, there's always samples there. And so you just do a lap of them all and you get one and then you come back and you get one on your way out. Park by it, get 2 samples in one trip. You never have to buy it. It's fantastic.
Well, there you go. There's your Cinnabon tips by Carl.
And my closest mall actually has 2 of them, which is why it's such a big deal that it's gone in Seattle. And so I can actually get 3 in one trip. And there's a pretzel place in there too, which is even better. It's like Costco in there. It's amazing.
Okay.
Brayden Schenn.
Are you done? Can we move on? Okay. All right. Brayden Schenn. I don't hate this deal. I think it's fine. I don't feel very strongly one way or the other about it. I'm not all the way at a Cinnabon. But I'm also not, I don't know what the other end of that spectrum would be.
On a scale of Orange Julius to Cinnabon, you're like a Blizzard.
Yeah.
You're Dairy Queen.
Yeah. Is that the middle point? Or is that just a little past the middle point, probably closer to Cinnabon?
Yeah, I would say, and I think we need to make the low scale like Subway. Is that the low scale?
Yeah.
What's the worst thing in a food court?
Subway's pretty bad.
Yeah. Taco time.
I don't even know what that is.
Maybe that's an Alberta only thing. What's the terrible Mexican restaurant in your food courts out there?
It's Taco Bell.
Taco
for sure.
Bell? Oh.
Yeah. Taco Bell's delicious, but bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, we only have a couple of them out here, and it's a treat every time I go there. So.
Yeah. Really shouldn't eat it more than once every couple of months.
Well, it's been at least a year for me, so I'm due.
You're due.
I'm due. I gotta go to the mall.
Enjoy. So Brayden Schenn. I have nothing else to say about him.
The other contract we missed, Alex Debrincat.
Oh yeah, the kitty cat.
Also signed $6.5 million a season. His is actually 6.4, 3 seasons. So another bridge deal. He was going to be a restricted free agent. And on the heels of all these restricted free agents waiting until 2 days before the season opens to sign contracts, we've got him. There's a couple others that I'll pull up here who've also signed, who would be RFAs. Do you think that this is going to be a precursor to a different offseason for restricted free agents this year?
Sorry, what do you mean by that? Do I think the Debrincat contract?
Just in general, because I'll remind myself of who the other ones were. But who's the other one here? Well, Thomas Chabot's already signed. Just in the way that we waited all offseason for these restricted free agents to sign this year. And now we've got Chabot, we've got Debrincat already locked up.
I mean, like, I think teams are watching what happened this year and saying, we don't want to go through this over the summer, so let's just get it done now. I think it's better for the teams, to be honest with you, for them to get it locked up early like this.
Absolutely, yeah.
Some of them I'm like the Chabot one to me is like, why for Ottawa? I don't know. That one's a weird one. But yeah, for someone like Debrincat, because he would fit exactly in the category of this year's RFAs. What's he going to get? It's going to be big money. And then he eventually would have landed on a bridge deal like this.
Yeah, something like that. And so many of them did this year, right?
Yeah.
If you look at where he slots in with that amount, honestly, this is like a significant underpayment too, compared to some of those other deals. Like Debrincat puts up goals like crazy, great contract. But like you look, Tkachuk got 3/7, and he's coming in at less on what's going to be a bigger salary cap next year. Love the deal for Chicago. This is a great
deal for a 40-goal scorer.
Yeah.
It's like, this is great for Chicago. I agree. And it sets him up to, he'll get paid at the end of it too.
Yeah. And so if we look at those who are restricted free agents this year, less big names than there was this year as well, right? Like we've got Matt Murray. Who knows what he's going to get, right? Like, and then like a lot of big question marks. 40-goal scorer Anthony Mantha. He needs a new contract.
I'm not ready for that.
And then like the likes of like Burakovsky, Max Domi, Sam Reinhart, Darnell Nurse, like a lot of like medium mid-range guys. So I think honestly, probably the two biggest deals of this free agency class already signed.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's smart of the teams. They want to avoid the drama.
Yeah, as they should.
The waiting. Yeah, I agree. Great deal for Debrincat.
Absolutely. You've got a Thanksgiving-themed game that you wanted to play.
I do. Thought about it today. Thanksgiving's all about giving thanks.
Yep. It's like how the first day of the NHL season's all about the NHL season's first day.
You got it, Carl. We're on the same wavelength.
We're going places.
We're on it. So, you see a lot of people around this time of year. They like to say what they're thankful for, and I think that's wonderful. And we should all take time to reflect for the things we're thankful for. But I'm curious about some specific things that you would be thankful for.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to our NHL teams.
Okay.
So like I said, I thought about this today, so I've put zero thought into it. I'm going to just look at a list of teams and pick random ones. And I want you to tell me what you are thankful for about this team.
Okay. Can I also get your thoughts? I'll share first. But I'd love to know what you're thankful for from these teams.
Absolutely.
As well. So we're thinking, what do I appreciate? What do I like about this team? What from this team brings me joy?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. What are you thankful for?
And I'm going to try not to overthink it.
Don't overthink it. I certainly haven't.
Okay. I mean, that's not something I've ever been accused of. But
okay, so let's start with the Philadelphia Flyers.
Carter Hart.
Thankful for Carter Hart?
I love me some Carter Hart.
I kind of do too. I don't know why I like him so much.
He's really good, and he's going to be really good for a really long time.
I think that I hope so. I picked him up on one of my fantasy teams, so I really hope that he is very good.
I accidentally drafted him during the Dustin Byfuglien confusion in our league. So,
Well, so you really hope he's really good too.
yeah.
Carter Hart was the goalie for Team Canada in one of the recent World Juniors, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's why I like Carter Hart.
He's Canadian. He's from the West. Lots of reasons to like Carter Hart. And honestly, like, I'm not a Flyers fan, but I'm just sick and tired of them complaining about not having a goalie. And it's nice if that could stop being a thing because it's really annoying.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm thankful for Claude Giroux because I like him. I think he's a really good hockey player, and I think he's constantly overlooked for how good he is because he's on the Flyers.
I like that.
So that's my answer, Claude Giroux. What are you thankful for when it comes to the Dallas Stars?
I'm thankful for the drama that ownership caused last season. I want more of that in hockey, and I'm thankful that their ownership team does not have a censor button. I wish for more. I want their thoughts because you know what? They're not living up to expectations this year either. They could be a little bit better than they should. You know, added Joe Pavelski, got to do better. So I want their thoughts on that as well.
That would have been my answer too, was just the drama. But I will say I'm thankful on the part of Joe Pavelski for them signing him because he hasn't done much.
Yeah.
So at least he's getting paid. Okay, let's go west. Well, you're already west, but I'm going to ask you what you're thankful for the Anaheim Ducks.
I'm thankful that they've gone back and for special events, they use the old Mighty Duck logo. I'm really thankful for that. And I'm thankful that they're starting to embrace that. Sure, they might not be owned by Disney anymore, but Disney Plus is coming out, Nick. And I saw today that the Mighty Ducks cartoon series is going to be on Disney Plus.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to watch that.
So if you haven't subscribed to Disney Plus yet, apparently you can pre-order, which I don't know what or how you can pre-order a streaming service, but you can.
Doesn't that just mean it's available?
Yeah. It's the same. You get the same thing as everyone else. You get to stream it. But I'm thankful that that's a thing and a part of their history because as someone who was a young fan at the time that the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim showed up, there was nothing better. That was why we fell in love with that team, was the movie connection. So, got to do it.
I think they need to do it more, personally.
I think that they should just use it only that logo. This like Web D that they have right now.
Yeah. No. I love that old logo. And I think that the Mighty Ducks were fun and we need more fun in this league and they should embrace that. I'm thankful that they bought out Corey Perry. Because I'm going to save you some editing, but I'm thankful that they bought out Corey Perry.
Okay. Well, and I noticed that you weren't thankful that Dallas signed Corey Perry.
No.
Okay. Well, I guess.
I don't know why I hate Corey Perry so much. I actually find him very amusing.
Yeah, and it's not like you. There was what? I don't know why you do. But that's fine. You're allowed to.
When Detroit was in the Western Conference, we had some pretty brutal matchups with the Ducks, and Corey Perry actually went after Datsuk.
Well, that's a great reason to not like him then.
So we don't like Corey Perry, and he's a pest.
Not in your house.
But he's such a, normally, against the Wings, he was not harmless, but normally he's a harmless pest. Like, when you do things like squirt water in the other guy's gloves, I think that's hilarious.
What? There was that one, and I think it was him, who scored a goal using the other guy's stick.
That was Bobby Ryan.
Bobby Ryan.
Yeah, when he played for Anaheim. That was good. And then he showcased it. I think it was Mikko Koivu's stick. He showcased it to him.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. I like that.
Okay, let's come back east. What are you thankful for the Detroit Red Wings?
I'm thankful that I have I've met some very nice Red Wings fans that I didn't think existed even a few years ago. I'm thankful for the fact that they're, you know what, I'm thankful that they're getting better. Because a historic franchise like that shouldn't be terrible for very long. And that city of Detroit not had a lot to get super excited about the last few years, right? Like, and I'm not just talking like economically. I'm talking like the Tigers have been awful. The Lions haven't been good.
Yeah.
The Pistons are like starting to come back. So just like they need something to be they need something to be thankful about in Detroit, and them having something to be excited about is good.
That was a very nice and sincere answer. Thank you, Carl.
And I'm glad that they're the Western Conference because I'm sick of seeing them.
I'm thankful for Steve Yzerman. I don't think I need to go into any more detail on that. You've all heard it before. I love you, Stevie. Okay. Sorry, that
got a little more than we needed it to.
That was a little weird. I don't know what happened.
Imagine like, and people don't even know what I had to edit out from that. Like, they're going to hear the parts that we can use.
Yeah, this the rest of it will be for our other podcast, the Fourth Line Podcast After Dark.
Yeah. Let's move on to another team.
Okay, let's do another one. What are you thankful for? Let's go to New York and do the Rangers.
I'm thankful for actually a lot of things about the Rangers. I'm thankful that Artemi Panarin has a new home that has like some potential. I'm thankful Capo Caco scored his first career goal.
Yeah, that was
thankful
cool.
for how many of the same letters he has in his name. He's managed to have an entire name with 4 letters. Not easy. As someone who I have 5 letters in my first and last name. I commend you, Capo Caco. You beat me. You one-upped me.
You.
Yeah.
And you're thankful for that.
Why not?
I love Capo Caco's name. What a great name. I'm glad. I am also thankful for that. I'm glad that we have that in the league and that's a person that we can talk about. I'm thankful for the New York Rangers for how quickly they turned their rebuild around. I'm thankful that they came out and said, hey, fans, look, tough times right now. Here's how we're going to tackle them. And they went out and tackled it, and they're back on the upswing after just a year, it seems. Maybe 2.
Yeah, it was like a year and a half. There was trade deadline a year and a half ago they wrote that letter.
Yeah.
And
they got a little bit of luck. Every rebuild needs a little bit of luck, but I'm thankful that they've set an example for how quickly a team can turn around their poor fortune.
Absolutely.
You want to do one more?
Sure, let's do one more.
What are you thankful for the Arizona Coyotes?
Phil Kessel.
Me too.
I love Phil Kessel. And not just because of like his hot dog eating abilities, which I believe it was you who told me he doesn't actually like hot dogs, right?
No.
Someone told me that Phil Kessel actually doesn't. I think Rick Tocchet, maybe on one of the dozen Arizona Coyotes podcasts, he talked about it, about how he doesn't actually eat hot dogs.
What?
Yeah.
This is completely changing my perception of Phil Kessel.
I mean, don't let it. Just continue to assume that he eats a lot of hot dogs. You can either believe everyone else or you can believe Rick Tocchet on Walk It Like I Talk It.
I mean, with a podcast name like that, how could you not believe him?
I mean, it's certainly not as good as the Fourth Line, but that's okay.
Agreed.
Yeah. But hot dogs aside, I just love him as a person. He's fun to watch on the ice. He deals with a lot of garbage and fairly well.
I agree. Here's how much I love Phil Kessel. My wife and I are big fans. You know the Olympic photo? You know the one, the headshot?
Yes.
From the Olympics?
We had tattooed.
No. I'm not
tattoos.
I'm not that intense. We're not that intense.
Okay.
But we did have it blown up, and there's like a 2-foot cardboard piece that's just the printout of that photo, his head, and we put it on a stick, and that was at our wedding on the dance floor, just Phil Kessel dancing around.
Nice. It's nice that, I mean, he didn't respond to your invitation, so it's nice that you brought him along.
Yeah, you laugh, but we may have tried to get word out to say we're looking for someone to actually marry us, and we'd pay for his certification.
That would have been
never
fantastic.
Heard back.
You know what?
Never heard back.
If we could make that happen, I know it's only been a short time. Would you renew your vows with Phil Kessel?
100%.
Okay, this is the official start of the campaign right now.
Oh, Phil, I just think it would be the best thing ever. So
we need to find a way to make this happen, because when I know that there's like a lot of things that happen, so maybe we'll have to wait till the off season, because like when he comes to Toronto on a road trip,
yeah,
he might not be able to sneak that in, but
be a little busy.
Yeah, it'll be nice. It'll be a real touchy moment.
Yeah, I agree. And every 2-year marriage needs a vow renewal.
You know what? It's never too early.
It's never too
Just to restate your commitment in front of your friends, family, and Phil Kessel is something that I think we all need.
I mean, we at least need it in front of Phil.
Yeah, right? He doesn't know. He wasn't there the first time.
Exactly.
So let's make that happen. Well, I'm thankful for a lot of things. I'm thankful that we get to watch afternoon hockey. I'm thankful for everyone listening right now as well, Nick. Our fantastic community of fourth line listeners.
Me too.
Couldn't ask for better, not just listeners, but friends of the show. So thank you for tuning in every week. And we will be here throughout the rest of the season. One thing we talked about it last week, or 2 weeks ago, that we would do it. Then we skipped it last week because I didn't put it on the slate. Pavel Bure must-watch games.
Oh yeah.
Do we want to pick our games? Because here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna let you pull up the schedule. I'm gonna do a high sticking recap, because we did say we're gonna keep this first one nice and tight and short.
Yep.
So we're doing that. We're gonna crown a winner. And last year, we certainly did it where we would do a draw. I think the first round of our new game got to go to the leader in the clubhouse. Agreed? All right, there we go. Congratulations, Nate Kinsey. You are the winner of this session of high sticking. So we'll send you out a fourth line podcast puck. And I'm not going to pick it up this week. 1, because I dropped it on the ground earlier. And 2, because Nick pointed out that you can't see when I show you all the puck every week.
Don't worry, Carl. I got you covered. I got one right here. We're going to send you one of these.
One of those right there.
One of these.
Congratulations, Nate. He won because he picked. It only took him 2 tweets for him to win. He sent out the tweet that said that he's going to pick his players, 1 goalie, 1 forward, 1 defenseman. He got the points, and he managed to do it. And you do not need, I mean, it obviously helps if you do every single week, but if you pick some good luck and some good players, you can skyrocket through those standings with only 1, because Brian, he finished 5th, and he only played for 1 of the 2 weeks. You make some good picks. I saw someone pick Dougie Hamilton, who had 3 goals this week. It's not just because the guy's a Hurricanes fan. It's because Jonathan's smart. That's what happened there.
It's a good pick.
So head on over to our Twitter at Fourth Line Podcast. We're resetting the scoreboard right now. You can get your picks in today, and they'll count for all week. 1 forward, 1 goalie, 1 defenseman, 2 points for a goal, 1 for an assist, 1 for a win, and 1 for a shutout, which the aforementioned Carter Hart got the first high-sticking shutout of the new format.
Hey, there you go.
And congratulations, Joe. Friend of the show, Joe from Tampa, got the first 2 points for a shutout. So good on him. Brings us to our must-watch games. We know what we're watching on Monday. There's only 2 games left, and it's 2 undefeated teams playing tonight. We'll watch the Avalanche in the afternoon. We'll watch the Oilers in the evening.
Absolutely.
Then we'll head to bed.
And then we wake up tomorrow, and there's more hockey on tomorrow.
After dreaming of Steve Yzerman all night.
Yeah.
And we tune in.
What's going to be good? I think Tampa-Montreal will be a good game.
Tampa-Montreal would be mine. Nashville-Vegas as well.
Yeah, that would be a good game too. There's an early and a late game.
Yeah, there you go. Washington-Toronto on Wednesday.
Yeah, agreed.
That's going to be a good game.
Agreed.
Especially Washington's going to need that bounce back after they lose to Colorado today. Similarly, Carolina heading out west. They're taking on San Jose and Colorado, Pittsburgh. Those are 3 pretty good games on a Wednesday, I think. And we don't have to pick. What's nice, I don't have to pick which one is the best. Those are just 3 really good games.
Agreed. Thursday. Rangers and Devils. Hughes versus Kako.
Hughes and Kako. Also Tampa,
Boston. Yeah.
Those are 2 very good games that day.
Yeah, agreed.
Which brings us much less of a good game schedule
on Friday.
On Friday. Yeah. I mean, if I had, like, we've got Florida's trying to make a comeback. They're playing. But, like, honestly, if I had to pick a game to watch, somehow Anaheim keeps winning games. I want to see, can they do it against Carolina?
Yeah, that'll be a good game. It's either that or probably the Rangers and Capitals again.
This is a Caps heavy week.
Yeah, and Rangers heavy.
Saturday, we got Toronto-Boston. That's always a thing that we're all going to make a big deal about.
Right. You also got Colorado-Tampa.
That'll be a good one too. Those are the two big ones.
Yeah.
That was Saturday. Sunday, a typically light Sunday schedule.
Edmonton, Winnipeg, keep it Canadian.
Yeah, let's keep it Canadian. Edmonton, Winnipeg. There you go.
Keeping it Canadian.
Maybe Dustin Buffalo will make his fantasy team debut for you.
I dropped him already.
What? Did you win this week?
No.
Oh.
I didn't. But I'll win this week.
Because we play? Do we play this week?
No, I don't think we do.
Okay. I went 3-0 in my 3 fantasy leagues this week, so don't want to brag, but it's too late. I already did.
Well, much like the Oilers, the streak can't continue forever.
Nowhere to go but down.
Nowhere to go but down.
You're playing against a team named after former Detroit Red Wing Daniel Alfredsson.
Red Wings legend, I might add.
Well, there we go. So those are must-watch games. Tune in. Looks like a pretty good week of games, all in all.
Yeah.
There's at least, there's one weeknight. That's all right. And tune in at Fourth Line Podcast. You can play our high sticking. You can send out a tweet. There's a Google form you can use, so it just like shows up in our spreadsheet, so we don't lose track of it.
So sophisticated.
It's 2019, Nick, and we're doing things here at the Fourth Line Podcast. So tune in there. Congratulations to Nate again, and tune in next week where we'll be back, probably for more food court based food feedback. If you're wanting to head out to a game this week, if you're wanting to check out a hockey game, head to seatgiant.ca with promo code APN, standing for Alberta Podcast Network. You can save 5%, which, if you're going to a small market game, you might save a couple bucks. If you're going to the big time, if you're going to Toronto, Boston this week, 5% gets you a long way. Promo code APN at seatgiant.ca. Nick, what time is it?
It's time for us to wrap up another Fourth Line show. I know what you're thinking. You don't want us to go. Hey, Phil Kessel, come marry me and my hun. If you come, we'll give you a Cinnabon.